sorry. Let me find out what's going on with that, because I am muted. Hallelujah.
Hebrews. This is Israel Wake Up. It's our Women's Advanced Bible Study, 12th of December, 2024. Okay, you can go to our YouTube channel to Israel Wake Up and check out our videos. We have over 100 or so far. And our time that we are live is on every Sunday. Okay, it's every Sunday. Every Thursday night from 7 to 9 p.m. Central Time. If you want to participate, okay. Our topic inside the class is I have some videos, and I'll be going over different threats that's going on right now with America. Okay, so that's be the topic. The topic inside the class. For those that don't know, this is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanakh and the Torah, to be the Old Testament, and so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah is the 35 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses by our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts. Okay. Shalom and welcome to the channel, and welcome to our Women's Advanced Bible Study. We're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence, prayer, psalms, some women's health moment. Then we have some current events, need to know information. Then we open up for some Q&A and dialogue. Then we go into our topic, right? Okay. This moment of silence is for the Lord of hosts and all that he's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. Lord, I pray unto the Lord my God. We make our confession, Lord, the great and dreadful God, keeping covenant and mercy to them that love thee and to them that keep thy commandments. O Lord, righteousness and belongeth unto thee, but unto us a confusion of face. As it is this day, to the men of Judah, to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and unto all Israel that are near and that are far off. You are the countries whether thou hast driven us, because of our trespasses against thee. In the sanctuary for your sake. O Lord, open our eyes and incline your ears to hear and behold our condition. O Lord, hear. O Lord, forgive and hearken and defer not for thy sake. For we need you so very much at this hour. Peace be unto you. Okay, we're going to read the Psalms.
Yes, sir. Shalom, everyone. I'll be reading Psalms 110 in its entirety, 1 through 7. A Song of David. The Lord said unto my Lord, sit thou at my right hand, until I make thine enemies thy footstool. The Lord shall send the rod of thy staff, of thy strength, out of Zion. Rule thou in the midst of thine enemies. Verse 3. Thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power. In the beauties of holiness from the womb of the morning, thou hast the dew of thy youth. The Lord hath sworn and will not repent. Thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. Verse 5, the Lord at thy right hand shall strike through kings in the day of his wrath. Verse 6, he shall judge among the heathen. He shall fill the places with the dead bodies. He shall wound the heads over many countries. 7, he shall drink of the brook, in the way thereof shall he lift up the head. Psalms 110, verse 1 through 7. In that Psalms, I was able to look about and see that this was a conversation in that first verse, that I would like for you to expound on, Brother Leonard. We have the first Lord is all caps. Then the second Lord is the lower caps after the L. So the Lord of hosts talking to David is what I want to ask. Is that who's talking? The Lord said unto my Lord.
Right.
If that's something that you can expound on for me, sir. And then when it says the right hand sitteth at the right hand, and it says it 2 times, is this a metaphor right hand or a literal right hand? Because when it talks about that right hand and making the enemies thy footstool, to me, when I was looking through like Isaiah 2 and 10, and it talks of that right hand is like a wrath and a power. So this person, when he says the Lord saith unto my Lord, to sit at the right hand, would this person that will be sitting at the right hand have the power to send wrath? Yes, sir. Shalom.
Okay. Right. So that the Lord said unto my Lord, it's a it's a it's it's a psalm of David, but David didn't write the song, right? So the
Yes, sir.
person that wrote the psalm is the one that's saying that the Lord, Lord of hosts, said to his Lord, David is his Lord.
Would that be Solomon?
No. It's just you know how you got priests like psalmists. If you go to let me give an example. Go to Psalms 82. You see Psalms 82?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it says the title says a prayer of righteousness and judgment, a psalm of Asaph. See that? So Asaph is a musician.
Yes, sir.
So Asaph, you got like I think 6 or 7 guys that was lead musicians with David. So one of them made that song, and he's saying the Lord Yahweh, the Lord of hosts, his Lord David. And it's all right.
Okay.
David didn't write it. So an example of that is if you go to where we was at the other night, in First Kings, Second Kings,
Yeah.
go to Second Kings chapter 1, and it says
Got it.
Second Kings chapter 1, no, First Kings. First Kings chapter 1 says um you can see, let me get the verse. Verse 13 says the high priest is uh, talking to Bathsheba, right? It says, "Go and get thee in unto the king David, and say unto him, Did thou not my Lord?" See that? So David is Lord. David is Lord over all Israel.
Yes, sir.
Then Michael is his Lord. Okay, so that's what that is. So
Okay.
it's a psalmist, because David wasn't just the only psalmist. So it's a psalmist in Israel that's made it. David didn't make this song. Whoever made it, he's the one talking. And he says, "Oh, I said unto my Lord," which is David. David is his Lord. Michael's talking to him, and he says, "Sit down at my right hand." So when you say, "What are you talking about? About the right hand?" You go to Deuteronomy 32. Okay. Deuteronomy 32. And it says, start at verse 38. You got it?
Yes, sir, I have it.
38 says, I thought at 39. See now, this is the Lord host talking. See now, I, even I am he. There is no God with me. I kill, I make alive, I wound, I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hands. For I lift up my hands to heaven. See that? I lift up my hands unto heaven, and I say, I live forever. And with my and if I with my glistening sword in my hand take hold of judgment, I will render judgment to my enemies, and I will reward them that hate me. So he got both his hands up, but a man's power is on his right hand side. So his sword is in his right hand, just like when he told Moses, lift up your hands,
Mm,
so he on his right side. In the same way in heaven, that's what Michael is. You're on the right side of the Most High. Power is in his
right,
right hand.
right.
Another example, okay. Another example is right quick is I went in last night. Genesis 48. Genesis 48. When you go to Genesis 48, and you'll see Joseph is being baptized. Joseph is blessing. Jacob just met his Joseph two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh. The power of a man is in his right hand, right side of his body, with his right hand, right arm, right hand, and that's how they'll pass the anointing on. When Isaac did it to Joseph, when Isaac did it to Jacob, he passed it. He passed the blessing on, laid his left right hand on his head, blessed him. So right here, and the firstborn, you got to do that to the firstborn. Firstborn received his father's power from his right hand, right? So it says right here, uh, Joseph brought them. Let me start where I need to go back over here to start at verse 8. And Genesis 48 and 8. Israel beheld Joseph's sons and said, who are these? And Joseph said unto his father, they are my sons, whom God hath given me in the place. And he said, bring them, I pray thee, unto me, and I will bless them. So we got to bless them with his right hand, right? So it says, now the eyes of Israel were dim for age, right? So that he could not see. And he brought them near unto him, and he blessed them and embraced them. And Israel said unto Joseph, I had not thought see thy face. Lo, God showed me also seed. So remember, God already showed him what to do. So it's 12. And Joseph brought them out from between his knees and bowed himself to the ground, the earth. And Joseph took them both, Ephraim in his right hand. See that? Ephraim in his right hand, because Ephraim is the firstborn. So Joseph moving them around by his power, his right side. He moving his firstborn with his right hand, right? And he with his right hand toward Israel left hand, right? Yeah, because no, Manasseh is the youngest. So he's moving Ephraim to Manasseh to Jacob's left hand, because Manasseh is the oldest. And Manasseh in his left hand toward Israel's right hand and brought them near unto him. And Israel stretched out his right hand. See that? So the power was in his right hand. And Israel stretched out his right hand, laid it upon Ephraim's head, which is the youngest. He's supposed to be on the oldest head. Say, and he laid on Ephraim's head, who was the younger, and the left hand upon Manasseh's head, guiding his hand wickedly, for Manasseh was the firstborn. See that? And he blessed Joseph and said, God, before whom my father Abraham and Isaac did walk, God in whom fed me all my life long unto this day. And the angel which redeemed me from all evil, bless the lads, and let my name be named upon them. and I named my father Abraham and Isaac. Let them grow into a multitude in the midst of the earth. And when Joseph saw that his father laid his right hand upon the head of Ephraim, it displeased him, and he held up his father's hand to remove it from Ephraim's head unto Manasseh's head. And Joseph said unto him, Joseph said unto his father, not so, my father, for this is the firstborn. Put thy right hand upon his head. And his father, remember what Joseph said. The Lord of hosts already showed me what the deal is. So he says, and his father refused and said, I know it, my son. I know it. He also shall become a people, and he shall be great. But truly, his younger brother shall be greater than he, and his seed shall become a multitude of nations. He blessed them that day, saying, "In thee shall Israel, in thee shall Israel bless, saying, God make thee Ephraim as Ephraim and in Manasseh as and he said Ephraim before Manasseh." So that's what he's talking. He's literally talking about the right hand because it's
Yes,
passed
sir.
all the way down from heaven. Michael
Okay.
is on the right hand of the Yahweh, and it goes all the way down like that, all the way down to the earth and to Israel. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else have
Yes.
questions on it? Okay. So with that being said, we're gonna go to our women's health moment.
Shalom, everyone. Please note that the information that is shared is intended for general, informational, and educational purposes only and is not medical advice or recommended treatment. Tonight's discussion is on, are frozen meals worth your health? As Israelite women, I hope we already know we can't substitute TV dinners for ourselves or for our family into a healthy lifestyle. Frozen foods are quick, easy, and usually affordable, but they're rarely the best way for us to get the nutrients we need. Here are some of the dangers you run the risk of exposing yourself to when you shop in the frozen aisle. They're not as healthy as they seem. While some frozen meals from the grocery store may appear to be a healthy choice, they often fall short when it comes to their nutritional value. They have sodium overload. Excuse me. Frozen foods, particularly prepared, are often high in sodium. Excess sodium can lead to high blood pressure, which is linked to heart diseases and stroke. Fat and calories. A lot of frozen dinners are very high in fat because fat contains twice the number of calories compared to carbohydrates or protein. This often makes frozen dinners high in calories by default. Diet unfriendly. Although diet frozen dinners are marketed as helpful for weight loss and proper nutrition, they may do more harm than good. These meals, which often have fewer than 300 calories each, won't sustain you for long, compelling you to reach for high calorie snacks soon after you eat them. Preservatives and chemicals. Frozen foods contain a variety of preservatives and chemicals to prevent spoilage. Preservatives can have long term negative effects on one's health by causing a slew of health issues. While frozen meals from the grocery store may seem like a convenient solution, it's important to be aware of the potential risks they pose to your health. Excessive sodium, sugar, and saturated fats, harmful preservatives, nutrient loss, and unhealthy cooking methods are among the hidden dangers of frozen meals. Additionally, these meals can have implications for heart health, mental well being, and portion control concerning healthier alternatives and fresh prepared. You can protect your family and enjoy delicious meals that nourish your body and soul. Remember, food made from real whole ingredients prepared fresh in your home is by far the healthiest way to eat. I will be reading Sirach chapter 30, verses 14 through 17. Verse 14. Better is a poor man being sound and strong of constitution than a rich man that is plagued in his body. Health and a good constitution are better than all gold, and a strong body than wealth without measure. 16. There is no riches better than health of body, and there is no gladness above the joy of the heart. Death is better than a bitter life, and perpetual rest than a continual sickness. Tonight's discussion was on, are frozen meals worth your health? And I read Sirach chapter 30, verses 14 through 17. Shalom, everyone.
Okay, we appreciate that information. We're gonna move on to our current event. Okay, I'll play them and then we'll discuss.
Brother Leonard, I can hear a cartoon playing in the background. Like you said, it's very disturbing. I don't know if anyone else can hear that, but I
Yeah,
can.
let me try to see over the settings. Okay.
Maybe me. Let me go out.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So, okay. Play my first current event.
So right now, millions and millions of Americans are scared. And they're scared because of the serious threats that are facing the United States at this time. We are hearing about threats against the United States people, against citizens here on U.S. soil and abroad. But because of what is happening right now, millions of people are scared and don't believe what our current administration is even telling them. Well, I'm going to get to this in just a moment, explain what's happening and why so many people don't believe what they're hearing. So I'll break all this down in just a moment. But first, all I ask is one thing. Takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. Now, let's begin. So at this time, we still have a lot of questions. One of the biggest questions, and probably the biggest story we have been hearing for the past several weeks, is what is going on with those drones that are flying overhead in New York, New Jersey, and Maryland, and in Philadelphia. Well, I want to play a couple clips for you. The first one, you really need to hear this because we have a congressman that is saying these drones are coming from an Iranian mothership that is sitting on the East Coast. Just listen to this.
It's an invasion of our airspace. In focus now, Republican Congressman Jeff Van Drew of New Jersey, member of the House Judiciary Committee on the Hill right now. How do you address this at this point?
Well, here's the real deal, Harris. You know, I'm also on the Transportation Committee, on the Aviation Subcommittee, and I've gotten to know people. And from very high sources, very qualified sources, very responsible sources, I'm going to tell you the real deal. Iran launched a mothership probably about a month ago that contains these drones. That mothership is off, I'm going to tell you the deal. It's off the East Coast of the United States of America. They've launched drones, is everything that we can see or hear. And again, these are from high sources. I don't say this lightly. Now, you know, we know there was a probability it could have been our own government. We know it's not our own government because they would have let us know. It could have been.
Let me step in really quick right there. He says, we know it's not our own government because they would have let us know. No, they wouldn't have. Okay. Our government would not have let us know that, yeah, we're flying these drones overhead. This is the reason why. They don't do that. Okay. They're not going to tell us. But when he comes out and also says that it's coming from an Iranian mothership that's just sitting off the East Coast, guess what? If there was a ship off the East Coast that came all the way from Iran, there's a good chance we would have known about it before it ever got, within, a handful of miles off the East Coast. Who's these?
How to turn a chilly 50-degree.
Are. Why would the Pentagon, why are they, the FBI, why would they send certain people to this kind of briefing? Not the main people. Okay? Why would the Biden administration and President Biden himself, or whoever's really running the country right now, why would they come out and say that, hey, everything's fine, don't worry, right? We have this. The reason why is because there's likely a reasoning behind it. They know, but they're not telling us. I want to play this for you as well. Listen to this.
The single hottest story in the country right now are all these drones flying over New Jersey. And no one knows. The Defense Department doesn't know what they are, who they are. And you remember when we had the Chinese spy balloon last year, the Defense Department said not to worry, there's no intelligence problem. And they said that all the way until they shot it down over the coast of South Carolina. Do you know anything about this drone story in New Jersey?
Well, Larry, good to be with you. Not much beyond what you've mentioned, but, you know, it does harken back to the Chinese spy balloon when we were lied to. You know, obviously, a lot of us were raising alarms when it was over Alaska. They could have shot it down over many places in Alaska where there were no people around, and it wouldn't have caused any problems to us. It would have protected America's national security. And Biden and his administration lied and said, don't worry, it's not doing anything anyway. It's not communicating with China. That all turned out to be false. And they went over every one of our major military bases.
So right there, he said the last time with the Chinese spy balloon, President Biden came out and said, yeah, no, like, we're okay. We're safe. It's not communicating. We're all right. What has President Biden said now? What has he said regarding these drones? Nothing. But many governors are actually asking for help. For instance, the New Jersey governor says the feds have the authority to shoot down drones, and he wouldn't be opposed to them playing a more robust role.
Okay. Anybody else heard anything about that since I've been talking about it?
Shalom, yes, sir. Even though they are denying that, right? The Coast Guard has said that they are, you know, aircrafts that are flying, you know, at low altitude near their vessels. So I think that they're just covering up something, but the Coast Guard is telling the truth about it, but they are, you know, saying that's not true.
Okay. Yeah. So I thought this right here was pretty interesting. This right here was, if you go back to us reading out of the book Adam and Eve, when Lucifer, Satan, and his minions came up out of the ocean, up out the water, and they came up on top of the mountain where Jared was there. But check this out.
Right now on all of these drones or UFOs appearing all over the United States. Congressman Smith in New Jersey just a few moments ago said that he's witnessed them as well. Went to the beach area with New Jersey residents, saw over 50 of these orbs coming out of the ocean, flying up to the sky. Like, what in the heck are these things? We can't get answers. Who knows? Why are they flying over nuclear installations? What the heck are they doing? Congress is trying to get answers as we speak. This just from just a few minutes ago on Capitol Hill. Why don't you shoot these things down? Watch.
Here. Is that something that it'd be hard to do? And then why do you need to intercept data in order to do that? If the object is there, destroy it.
So it's a good question. I think the way it works, as I understand it, my colleagues can talk about this operationally. If you had, let's say, a football game, and you would have a perimeter, it would be declared as a temporary flight restricted area.
Okay.
So around that, you're going to have a buffer zone. You have an area where it's a no-go, and you have a larger area around that where you might want to detect what's flying, and then you have a larger area around that where you might be tracking, but regular commercial drone use is okay. And so as they're getting closer and closer to the facility, you're detecting originally the signals to see what is that drone. You're trying to identify a drone. Oh, is that a UPS? Is that like a
long distance radar or something like that?
Exactly. So is that a UPS drone that's just delivering a package somewhere? Let it go on its way.
Is it getting closer? Is that a UPS drone? Right? Is that a UPS drone just trying to deliver a package? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe all of these drones are just holiday shoppers, and they're just delivering packages.
Dropping off FBI jackets at the FBI office.
Or something.
Are they storks? Is it that time of year? Maybe
Yeah.
they're baby storks.
Maybe it's just UPS packages. Why can't we shoot them down? Oh, yeah, we're just gonna let that one go on us. Maybe that's an Amazon delivery. Maybe those are socks that you ordered on Amazon. They're showing up at your house.
I love the government morality of, like,
yes, we will support a genocide in another country. We will overthrow governments, but we will not get caught shooting down a drone that we don't know who it belongs to. Like,
they're very concerned about packages. They're very concerned about UPS packages or deliveries. Well, we finally today have our clearest photos yet of these so-called drones or UFOs over New Jersey. They don't look anything like drones, by the way. In fact, they appear to be orbs. Yes, circular orbs, which we've said on the show repeatedly. This footage was captured on Sunday night in New Jersey and finally released. Take a look at this. So this...
we don't have more answers as to where they're coming from and why they're doing what they're doing. We had
so you're the governor of the state. You're the governor of the state. 49 sightings last night. And
now those
and you can't... Sorry. 49 sightings over the state of New Jersey. You don't have answers from your government. You're the governor of a state. One of the most densely populated state in the United States, by the way. More people live closer in New Jersey, close to each other than any state in the country. So there's all these eyewitness accounts of this over military bases. And we don't know. We can't get answers. No one will give you, the governor, answers of this. So now we also have eyewitness photos, crystal clear photos of these orbs also now being published. Do those look like drones to you?
No, they look like embryos.
Yeah, they look like some sort of embryo or some sort of massive, I don't know, circular orb with some sort of field around them, hovering. And this is what we're seeing now. So again, also other eyewitnesses seeing these sort of like wheel within a wheel, like something like right out of the Bible. Look at these. This is over New Jersey. Does that look like some sort of any kind of a drone that you've ever seen before? Well, the problem is we don't know because no one's telling us. And even in front of Congress, they're not. So that even looks like biblical drawings, like a wheel within a wheel, like Ezekiel, right? I mean, you have drawings like this going back thousands of years, by the way. Some of these from the 1600s right here. These sort of wheel within a wheel in the sky. What are these things? Okay, who knows?
Go ahead. When I saw that video, the first one of the way that thing was moving, when Philip, my brother and I went camping in Oregon, we sat for like an hour and watched this star move like that. We didn't have telephoto, but I've still got the video of it. I'm going to go back and look at it because it moved just like that. And it was, the other stars were stationary, but that one was moving and for like an hour over us. And it looks just like that.
And some of these also doing 90-degree turns in midair. So what craft does a 90-degree turn at that speed, unless it is a drone? But even that's not able to do a 90-degree turn at that speed. So anyway, Facebook group just a few minutes ago posted this, or a little short time ago posted this. For those following the New Jersey Drones Facebook group that was just made a few hours ago, has almost 20,000 members sharing videos and tracking drones over New Jersey. Not only was the post that you're about to see removed from Facebook, but then it was removed from Reddit as well. They also removed it. This was the post that got removed. I can tell you right now, they are military drones, our military. I have a commercial drone license. They know when my drone is up after it reaches 50 feet. They can assign a unique signature to it, track it on radar like a heat-seeking missile, for example, until it goes down below 50 feet again. I talked to a friend in the military who also works with these drones. He said 100% these are our drones, and they would only be used in such excess for a serious reason. And he gave examples like tracking a nuclear fallout from a dirty bomb that went off, or tracking biological weapons, tracking WMDs, or searching for them from a credible threat. This person says, I know of 2 families that left the state to stay with family elsewhere. They are both in the military. Guess what? Both of the family's husbands are deployed. That's why they are going to stay with family. Sus. So
Okay. Any comments on that? It make a lot of sense to me. They probably under attack or knowing that they're going to get attacked, and they got those drones out, but they're not telling the people why they out. Okay.
Shalom. I think I think they're very cavalier in the way that they talk about it. I noticed that of all the videos and the articles I've seen about it, the majority of these so-called drones or UAPs are being seen in the United States and not being seen in the other parts of the world the way that they're being seen in the United States. And then recently, I saw something talking about the terminology that they're using. They go back and forth between a UFO, UAP, and then a drone. And then today, or was it yesterday, I heard for the first time that they said that Iran sent these drones here from their mothership.
Right. Yeah.
Mothership?
Right. Exactly.
That doesn't make sense. I mean, it's just I think they're intentionally being confusing. I'm also paying attention to who's reporting it and who's not reporting it. And the forum by which they do it, like they like again, like the video we just heard, they're sitting around like in a podcast making jokes about something as serious as I think this is. Like if we don't know what it is or who it is, then they're very cavalier about it and arrogant to me. And then on the other hand, they're saying, "Oh, it's us," but they're not telling us why. That's but still in a cavalier, a superior type of way that they speak about it.
Right. Right. No, knowing that it's bringing chaos. They know it's bringing chaos because nobody, they already got it out where they assuming they don't know what it is, and that in itself is bringing chaos to the population, but they don't care. Exactly. So when you start, I played a video on here about 2 or 3 months ago. The guy he was on I can't think of the name of that platform, but TEDx. He was on TEDx and he's talking about the swarm technology. Do y'all remember that video? How they have technology to release thousands of however many they want of drones from a plane, from like a military application, like a swarm of bees, but they all drones. So when they say mothership, that's the first thing I thought about. Yeah, Iran got a mothership. They just released a whole bunch of drones out of it, out
But
of
the
Apple.
But it's weird that they would use the terminology of a mothership. We've always associated a mothership with an alien spacecraft. At least I have. I'm a big sci-fi. I like science fiction. So every time I've heard of a mothership, it always evoked the idea of a UFO. For them to talk
Exactly.
about it instead of just saying, we dropped it from a plane, they say a mothership. It just seems something disingenuous about the way that they're talking about everything.
Right. So
Shalom.
like you said, like you said, invoke. They said that for a reason. Go ahead. Somebody.
Shalom, everyone. Um, like you're saying, they're using different words. I believe there's code words out there. They have to say something. So these code words, these words are, when they say AP or drone or mothership, is a lurking ones who know what to look for when they're speaking. And just like when you put a resume out there, you have to have a certain word for them in your resume where they'll pick it up. So they have these code words that are saying, seem obvious to us, mothership or drone, but they got words along with when they're speaking to pick up code for certain people to interact. So if it's going over New Jersey, they know, okay, once they say this again using whatever word, then we need to be prepared to leave or we need to be prepared to do something. Um, I mean, they're saying it so casually, like you're saying, so people won't be so, alert. They're just wondering, well, they know what they're doing. Uh, the government got it. They're figuring it out. But all in time, they're using code words that we're not recognizing. And they're going to move accordingly like they want. And like you said, Brother Leonard, if they let out these swarms of drones or whatever they want to call it, then it's going to affect the different places where they won't have martial law out. They have these drones out. And people are afraid to go outside. People are afraid to do whatever because all these drones are going to be hovering over their areas.
That's top of my head. That's what I see when I hear about people speaking of they don't know what the drones are for or how they get there. Like I mentioned, if you get a drone, it cannot go over so many feet in the air before it's detected. But they say they don't detect it. They don't know what it is, but it is, and you have to have it registered. So again, they know.
Shalom. I think it's just a part of another component of this is a big distraction. There's so many things moving very fast around the world. France is on the verge of collapse. Africa is getting up off its knees. Um, then something weird with the Pope is supposed to be opening some kind of satanic door on Christmas Eve. Has anybody heard about that? I mean, they
Yeah,
threw that out there.
yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, I heard about it. But
Yeah, I mean,
I just watched a movie about that. Yeah, crazy. When I heard it, I just watched a movie about that. How they had this portal down up under the Vatican where they had the Lucifer bound.
mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, they're
So
supposed opening some door they're talking about, and they're gonna televise it. They do it every, what is it, 15 years or every 25 years or something like that. I'm like, the Catholic Church is revealing itself to be the demonic place. It's always been implied that they were. But they're just coming out in broad daylight now.
right, exactly right. Like I was saying, this all scripted because of what they wrote. They wrote everything that you see. They come. That's out of the mind of Esau and the Gentiles. What you, especially Esau, that you're dealing with when you read Revelation. So they bringing about what they wrote. They using technology and all that to bring about what they wrote in there because like I was saying about I mentioned on several occasions about the halogen dialectic. And so what that is they create a problem.
Mm.
And people start screaming about it and screaming about it. They keep on letting it go on until they keep on screaming about it. And they already have a answer for it that they want to do, but they want to keep on. They want to make them keep asking for it, and then when they get to the screams get loud enough, then they give them what they want, and the whole time is what they want to do all along. And then you can see it. This is blueprint. What we're looking at right now. Everybody want to know what's up with these drones. Well, they got something they want to do. So they give them a little more time to keep on hollering about it. Then they're gonna give them the answer. And like I said before, it's no coincidence that all this stuff is happening in between the time that Trump got that space in between him going into office.
Mm.
They're setting this all up for him. Whatever they got going on when he come into office, all this is tied to it. Okay. Check this
Shalom,
out.
what?
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead. I was
Now
just
go
gonna
ahead.
ask you. I was just gonna say something about the I had heard over the years about Project Bluebeam, where they're supposed to be orchestrating the return of Jesus Christ.
Right,
You
they're
heard
doing
about
it now.
anybody heard? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're doing it right now over Israel. That's all they're doing now over Israel. They're showing angels ascending and descending. They're showing JC showing up in the sky and disappearing. They're doing all that right now. Now they're doing it in America, specifically over in the Midwest, over in like Utah and the skies over there where that's predominantly white folks. Because they know
Mm-hmm.
those evangelicals gonna nut up when they see stuff like that. They don't have no reasoning. So all this already happening now is all tied to what they wrote in Revelations.
Mm-hmm.
They
I
bring
ain't
it to
heard not
pass.
one trumpet.
Right, exactly. But they got trumpets going all off over Israel. Okay.
Mm.
Well, yeah, you gotta Google it. But check this out. I thought this is pretty interesting too, because this lady right here connected.
Is not only
everybody know about the guy got murdered right in New York.
On the train.
No, the guy who killed the health CEO.
The United Health CEO, yes.
All right, check this out.
one of America's most astute journalistic commentators, but her and her team are also great investigative reporters. They dig for the facts underneath the big news stories and find stuff that the mainstream media is either ignoring or does not want to talk about.
Exactly.
Today, Maddow uncovers a startling connection between Trump and the suspect of the CEO shooting in Midtown Manhattan. Before she reveals that connection, she starts here.
Today, we have news of a young man being arrested and charged in conjunction with the assassination of a health insurance executive in Midtown Manhattan. This young man has been charged with forgery and a firearms offense at this point. And with people looking for a possible motive or an explanation for that crime.
I'm going to show Maddow's surprising discovery in just a second. But first, it is no accident that this is a story the mainstream corporate media are confused and outraged over. They're confused because America is not clutching its pearls over what happened in Midtown Manhattan. This was a cold-blooded act performed in broad daylight to a corporate titan, no less. And Americans are not angry about it. The media are outraged that Americans seem to be, at best, justifying what happened, and at worst, celebrating it. For the record, the people who are sort of kind of justifying it are wrong. We're all outraged at faux news and the Republican Party manufacturing false equivalencies on a daily basis. And this is no different. There's no justification for taking a life, and false equivalencies only serve to lower our sense of justice. Likewise, the people celebrating this are either fringe people or clickbait specialists. Nobody is really cheering this. What people are celebrating, however, is that for once, just once, the actions of a rich and powerful man have finally resulted in proportionate consequences. The rich and the powerful get to destroy lives through their corporate decisions and get to walk away from it all, protected by limited liability, the sacrosanct of corporate and arms of corporate, searching people their access to health care. So far from a ringing endorsement for vigilante justice, people are secretly glad that for once karma reached out and struck an evil man with evil actions. And there's an easy remedy for removing this kind of tolerance for retribution. Try restoring the concept of equal justice under the law. Try giving individuals more power to confront the injustices that corporate America rains down on us with impunity. Because as the facts are becoming known, it is increasingly clear that Luigi Mangione is not a hero of the disenfranchised. He is a deeply troubled young man. And as Rachel Maddow reports, this troubled young man was attracted to the writings of another troubled person. But what is really shocking is who else was attracted to the ravings of a troubled mind. Watch.
One of the things in this guy's internet history that's gotten a lot of attention today is a very enthusiastic review he appears to have given to the manifesto of the Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski, who killed 3 people and injured nearly 23 others, in a bombing campaign that spanned more than 15 years. This young man arrested today, he has not been charged with the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. We don't yet know if he will be charged with that killing. But if it is him, the fact that he's a professed Unabomber fan is unsettling. I might venture that it's even more unsettling that Donald Trump's reported choice to run the ATF is also a self-professed fan of the Unabomber.
Do you have a subversive thinker that you think people should look up, look into, know more about, that's underrated and would influence people in a good direction.
Subversive thinker that's underrated?
Yeah.
I'll probably get in trouble for saying this.
Nah,
I mean, I'd say, how about like Theodore Kaczynski?
Theodore Kaczynski. Blake Masters later admitted, quote, probably not great to be talking about the Unabomber while campaigning. Just to be clear that he knew that when he was talking about Theodore Kaczynski, he's talking about the Unabomber. Underrated thinker. People should look into him. People should look into an underrated thinker that would influence people in a good direction. Unabomber fan, reportedly Trump's choice to lead the ATF, which, despite its acronym, is responsible not only for alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, but also explosives. Sure, why not put the Unabomber fan in charge of the federal agency that regulates explosives?
Okay, so first of all, Blake Masters is just another member of the money class, backed by wannabe oligarch ruler Peter Thiel and wannabe dictator Donald Trump. Second, and no surprise, he doesn't even know what the term subversive means. Ted Kaczynski isn't a subversive thinker, and his manifesto was not a case of subversive thought. It's a diatribe. Trotsky was a subversive thinker. Freud was a subversive thinker. Ho Chi Minh was a subversive thinker. And really, Jesus of Nazareth should be considered a subversive thinker. Blake Masters just shows he's a mental midget by thinking Ted Kaczynski is in that class of thinking. Unlike Maddow, I'm not concerned that a guy who's fascinated by Kaczynski is going to be in charge of a government agency that oversees bombs and bombings. I'm concerned because he's an idiot and a tool. Every selection Trump makes is either family, celebrity, or uber wealthy.
Any comments?
They gonna turn on themselves.
Right. Yeah. Like everybody that he dealing with, everybody he's putting in office, they got some kind of dark past going on with them. I don't know, it's crazy. And nobody seemed to be connecting them dots. Yeah.
I think they're gonna end up all turning on each other.
Right, yeah, when it don't work. Yeah. Anybody else have any, I'm gonna open up for some questions or comments. Anybody have anything they want to talk about or they came across? You want some answers or shine a light on something? Yeah, I ran across this right here today, so I thought that was pretty interesting to play this.
Greetings. I am Apostle Obi, the Chief Executive Officer for GAP, Global African Diaspora Project. My fellow African diaspora brothers and sisters who are direct descendants of our formerly enslaved African ancestors, and my fellow brothers and sisters in the continent of Africa. Ever since the launch of GAP, we have experienced and we have seen tremendous support for our project of land acquisition and land grants to African diasporans who are willing to resettle in Africa with qualified projects to help our people build a structure of global commonwealth for the benefit of all of us. GAP was launched for one specific reason. And this reason, we believe, it's one of the most powerful instruments to change the dynamic. And for us, as Africans and Africans in the diaspora, to get the respect we deserve within the community of humans. That is building a global economic network that will serve as a commonwealth that we all share. And also, God is also an instrument that we believe is a form, a very powerful form indeed, for internal reparations for African diasporans to be given equitable access to the resources of land in the continent where their ancestors came from, which we have seen several African countries spearheaded by Ghana have taken this initiative called the right to return. So we are encouraging every single one of you out there who is a descendant of our formerly enslaved African ancestors, and those of you in the continent, for us to embrace this initiative of internal reparations amongst ourselves before we seek the elusive external reparations from our sworn enemies who are descendants of our formerly enslaved beneficiaries of the transatlantic slavery. In order for us to achieve this goal, I am calling on every single one of you who have the capacity or the financial capability to donate sustainably to our GoFundMe campaign for land acquisition and land grants to African diasporans who have a qualified project to be settled in Africa. So, my fellow brothers and sisters in the diaspora, our internal self-reparations, building the Commonwealth together, is the first and most important step we must take while we seek the well-deserved external reparations, which will not come without us asserting ourselves amidst the global human community as equals. It starts with us. So please, donate to the GoFundMe campaign, which is listed on the GoFundMe page as Global African Diaspora Project. We seek to acquire land resources, which will be given as grants for $0 to African diasporans with qualified projects that will facilitate our progress in building a commonwealth for our people on both sides of the Atlantic. Internal self-reparations.
Comments? So you want to do some research on that? It's he was saying it's Global African Diaspora Project. It's GADP. Gap. Yeah, let me figure it out. Somebody had something? Yeah, so so you see what's happening over in Africa with South Africa, BRICS. You see what's happening with the Sahel, with the Mali, and you see how Africa's rising, right? All this stuff is happening. You go back to China and what happened in 2020 with jab, and then now we see all this stuff happening in Africa, how they starting to reject the West, reject France, like it was mentioned earlier, because of they rejected France. France's economy is going to the dogs because of the whole reason that they were even existing was the stuff they was getting out of Africa. And now the people starting to take back their wealth and guard it, right? Now they catching hell. And we can see the same thing happening in the EU, all over the place because of what's happening in Africa. So, with that being said, all of a sudden now, look at what we got going on.
Shalom, I think it's interesting how fast the decline is happening. I mean,
Okay.
and the way that it has been, we have been raised up in this idea that Africa was poor and there's nothing there and the people are backwards. The way in which they are rising up and how quickly these countries that depended so heavily on them, and the example is being made of France, it's almost like it's as if it was overnight. This guy has only been in power what, 2 years,
Right,
and he's paid off the debt of his country
right.
and building all this stuff, and France is on the verge of collapse. Literally, they're not talking about it in those terms. They're talking about the government, but the whole country is going to pot.
Exactly, right. And like I was saying last night, they had this coal, and the coal had what they call that, residue of gold in it, and what they was doing was they was France was getting all this coal with the gold in it. They had some kind of refining process. They was loading all that coal up and getting the gold out, making millions of dollars off of it. And so my man, even Tory cut that off, and now he's come up with I was looking at the video where now he's making from the residue they getting from the coal, the gold that's in the coal, millions of dollars. And he's starting to make the gold bars with that. They had nothing, that's just extra. That for all these years, France was doing that, getting it. They ain't even had no idea. They thought it was like it was like trash. They was taking all, they couldn't figure out why was they loading all these sacks of coal up and shipping it off, spending the money to ship it off. And the whole time they was extracting the gold. They had a process. They extract the gold, the residue, the gold that was left in there. It was millions and millions of dollars. Now he's doing it. Okay. Matter of fact, that video, let me see. Yeah, it says now that video is let me get it right here. No, I didn't put it on here, so, but I'll give it to you tomorrow or Saturday. But here we go. With all that you see going on, this was going on with them. Just their retaliation.
Is X. That's what it's being called. It's a mysterious illness, and it is circulating in a remote part of Africa's DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo. So far, at least 376 cases have been reported. About 200 of them are among children younger than 5, and 79 people have died. These are the government figures. But some reports say that the actual numbers are much higher, more than 140 deaths. Yet no one knows how this disease spreads, what causes it. Some nations are taking proactive measures. Hong Kong, for instance, has tightened airport screenings. Japan has issued a travel advisory, and international health authorities are scrambling to find answers. This outbreak has renewed concerns about the next pandemic. So how worried should you be? Here's the report.
It all started on October 24th in the Congo province of the Democratic Republic of Congo. The first patient fell ill. They displayed flu-like symptoms with fever, headache, cough, breathing difficulty, and anemia. Soon, others followed. So far, at least 376 people have fallen sick. Out of this, about 200 are children younger than 5 years. At least 79 patients have died. That's the government figure, but as per some reports, at least 143 people have been killed, while dozens are falling sick. The disease remains a mystery. It's being called Disease X. It wasn't until December 1st that the national government was notified. Ever since, they have been scrambling to find answers.
It looks like a respiratory type illness. I said, it looks like. We only received the alert 4 or 5 days ago. So don't think that in 4 or 5 days we can already identify the mode of transmission. Is it a waterborne disease? Is it a waterborne bacterium? Is it a cough-borne respiratory disease? I can't answer these questions yet.
We are really on maximum alert. We need to confirm through the diagnostics the suspicions around whether the unknown disease is a respiratory infection.
Testing is still underway, but it's a race against time. And while the disease is circulating in remote Congo, the entire nation is on alert.
The teams are engaged, and when we have the diagnostic results, we can better deal with the situation, steer our interventions, because for now there is no precise diagnosis. It's hard to say whether it is a viral or bacterial illness, but we hope that in the next 24 to 48 hours, the lab tests will tell us.
International health authorities like the World Health Organization are desperate to find answers as well. Some countries are taking precautions. Hong Kong has tightened health screenings at the airport for visitors arriving from Johannesburg and Addis Ababa. These are the two African transit hubs that ferry travelers from the DRC. Japan is also on alert. Their foreign ministry has advised people against unnecessary travel to the region affected by the outbreak. While many questions remain unanswered, this outbreak has renewed concerns of the emergence of a new pathogen. It may have the potential to spread across the world. We could witness a new pandemic just a few years after the Wuhan virus forced countries to shut down borders and brought entire nations to a standstill. So, should you be worried? When it comes to disease X, no one is sure yet. Researchers claim they will have an idea in a few days when the test reports finally come. They are tracking the outbreak. But international scientists also say that the possibility of a pandemic is always there. A new report is out. Researchers in China claim that the world is on the brink of the next pandemic, with evidence of new pathogens, cases of bird flu, and virus strains found in the wild now infecting humans. The birth of a pandemic may be random, but it's in our favor to be prepared.
Okay. Any comments on that? You think there's a coincidence?
Certainly not.
In the Congo now, not anywhere, but in the Congo. That all is going on over there. Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna play this other video and get feedback, and then we'll close out. This is about you know that they got a restaurants out on Netanyahu over in Israel, right? Let's check this out, though.
Who is also to testify in his corruption scandal today, becoming the first sitting prime minister in the state of Israel.
So check this out. We see that how what happened over here with Trump. We had 34 felony counts, and still became the president. Israel, the same thing with this nut bucket right here.
To take the stand as a criminal defendant.
Go back.
Next sitting prime minister in the state of Israel to take the stand as a criminal defendant. Netanyahu faces serious charges of bribery, fraud, and also breach of public trust in 3 separate cases of corruption. At the hearing, the Israeli premier is expected to respond to the allegations and to the testimonies that
the people love him. The Anglo-Saxon Europeans love him, though. They're criminals.
being made against him, including from former close aides. He's repeatedly sought to delay his testimony in the court. And last time he physically appeared in the courtroom was in June 2023, well before the beginning of the war in Gaza. However, ahead of the trial, Netanyahu at a press conference said that he was not running away from justice. He also said that he'll speak in the court. He's further said that it has been 8 years that he's been waiting for this day to present his version of the truth. The trial is being moved from Jerusalem to Tel Aviv for security reasons, where Netanyahu will testify in what is being described as an underground chamber to keep him safe. Now, in the first case, Netanyahu and his wife, Sarah Netanyahu, are accused of accepting more than $260,000 worth of luxury goods, such as cigar, jewelry, and champagne from billionaire donors in exchange for political favors. The second case involves alleged attempts made by the Prime Minister to reach a deal with a publisher that is effectively a newspaper of a very popular Israeli daily for better and good coverage of him, agreeing to weaken the status of a rival daily newspaper. Now, in the third case, Netanyahu that faces, he is said to have received favorable coverage on a popular news website owned by his close friend in exchange for smoothing the way for the telecoms mergers that were sought by him. For all the latest news, download the Beyond app and subscribe for YouTube.
So what you think about that? Like I said, the international court got the arrest warrants out for him, and not only that, they got him over there. The same thing happened over there happened over here. Both leaders. Something going on with that. Okay. Any questions or comments? Okay. Say a little bit of this and then I'll close up.
Kovich, he's a former special operations intelligence analyst and a drone expert. So my dad reached out to me yesterday because we go to Jersey on the weekends, Ocean County, and he said, "What is going on?" I said, "I'm going to ask Brett in the morning." So here, Brett, tell my dad, what do you think is going on?
Oh my God, it's difficult to say. It's all speculation at this point. Even the U.S. military research facility at Picatinny Arsenal just admitted that the drones are not there. So that's added to the confusion even more. And I've said it before, I've tested a ton of drones over U.S. government installations in partnership with the military before. And that type of secrecy is just not normal for how we would conduct business. Even if we don't explain to the locals what exactly we're doing and testing drones and why, there would still be a lot of coordination of those flights at all levels of law enforcement. And if anything got out of hand, for example, public hysteria like this operation, we would shut it down immediately. But it's not stopping, and now we're even hearing more reports of drones flying over Philly now. But frankly, Dana, I don't even care at this point if it's some big U.S. government conspiracy or if this is in fact adversarial drones flying. I'm more concerned about the lack of transparency on behalf of our federal government and their inability to even want to alleviate the public's concerns at all. All they're saying is it's being investigated. That's unacceptable. And these local government officials, they need to stop saying there is no known threat unless they really know that. It's a disservice to the American people who are rightfully concerned, because I know firsthand the damage that drones can do. Even if the drones fly over a site for just a few minutes, do a bunch of flips and disappear in the middle of the night, the damage is already done. Most people don't know how much intelligence data can be collected with sensors that are attached to these drones just even in a short flight. But what's even more concerning is I'm realizing more and more that our law enforcement doesn't even know the rules of engagement for monitoring and downing rogue drones over the U.S. The average official couldn't tell you who's even in charge of that. There's too many competing airspaces and different agency equities, and the FAA, frankly, they're in charge of the confusion.
We don't get the necessary answers there, we'll dig deeper and go to the classified level.
And you thought these might be dark programs?
I hope not. I don't believe so, but there's a lot of investigation going on, so we'll find out.
So go ahead and define a dark program and think about what's happening in Ukraine and think about what some people, even Elon Musk, talking about the future for warfare, should be unmanned and should be done by way of drone. It might be a pretty simple explanation that they're in the development phase and they're doing it in places like New Jersey.
It could be. I mean, dark programs essentially are, what we call red selling, where literally we're just testing our own infrastructure, our own national security. We might be flying drones over a military base to see how they may be able to stop that internally. But overseas, this is not a difficult thing to do. I can take a drone right now, fly it over to China, drop a bunch of drones from it, extend the range. There's a lot of different communications like Starlink that's out there to be able to do this. This, to the drone community, this is very easy to do. This is not difficult. They don't have to be sitting in New Jersey flying these drones if we're speculating that this is a foreign adversary. We are even seeing the Ukrainians right now put drones on boats, launch them from boats in the ocean. And that's very interesting to me because that extends the distance, and we're seeing we're talking about some of these sightings being right there on the coast. But overall, frankly, this is not an unsolvable problem. These drones are not undetectable. This is easy to figure out what's going on if the proper experts were brought in. And that's what upsets me the most. We have the technology to monitor, track, defeat this right now. Every single drone has a unique fingerprint. It's got a unique signature. It transmits some sort of signal, and those signals tell a story. And there are a ton of countermeasures out there put in place that we could use. You could layer tactical, strategic counter drone radar systems. You can jam the frequencies of the drone. You can hijack a drone midair, take control of it. We have the ability even for drones to strike other drones now midair. We have directed energy systems that can fry a drone in the air. But we've got.
So yeah, you're telling us a whole lot. Ain't there something? Yeah, so anybody have any questions before we close out? I'm gonna try to start something else, try to get more involvement and more engagement next week, right? We're gonna I'm giving everybody an assignment to go to Esther, right? Read that and then come up with whatever you get out of the book of Esther, the things you see in there that stick out to you. And next week, well, before we close out the class, get everybody perspective on what they got from out of the book of Esther. That's next Thursday. Something we're doing probably at the end of the class. Ask everybody what was their take on what they got when they read Esther, the book of Esther. Whether it's the creator, the Lord of Hosts, or the woman's perspective, how they felt about what Esther did or whatever. So we're gonna do it like that. And then next week I give another assignment. That way we can kind of catch this class up a little bit. Okay. Anybody else got anything before we go? Everybody good?
Can I ask a question about something?
Yeah, what you got?
I keep hearing about Damascus is being destroyed, and that's somehow some linchpin in the destruction of the end times. What's your perspective on that?
Well, that's Revelations. That's Edomites got that in the book of Esther. I mean, it got that in Revelations, but actually we talked about that. It was Isaiah chapter 17.
Right.
And Damascus is tied to Assyria. When the Assyrian army came, like I was saying, when Nebuchadnezzar came on the scene, Nebuchadnezzar was prophesied. The Lord of Hosts used Nebuchadnezzar, like he told David, whenever you die, you're gonna go to your fathers, and then I'm gonna be every one of your sons that's on the throne. I'm gonna be their father. If they keep the commandments and the laws and the statutes that Moses gave them, they're gonna everything gonna go well. But if they don't, I'm gonna bring the rod of man here, and the rod of man is these Gentiles, and so he brought Nebuchadnezzar there, and the ruling power with Daniel give us the four beasts is the four beasts that was going to come on the earth after Israel became a nation. But the last ruling power before Israel became a nation was Assyria. And that's why Assyria came there, took the 10 tribes and took them back. And the Most High said that they was going to do that, but he was going to punish them. And that's what Nebuchadnezzar did. Nebuchadnezzar had a war. It's all in the book of Judith. He had a war with the Syrians. And the Syrian army was so powerful, everybody thought the Syrians was going to win. But Nebuchadnezzar was in prophecy. So when the war took place, those 7 angels that we always talking about was with Nebuchadnezzar. And they destroyed the Syrian army. And all those soldiers and all that power that the Syrians had, Nebuchadnezzar had it now. And so Nebuchadnezzar came back after he won, and he came back and he started destroying all those people that didn't help him. And Damascus was one of them. And that's why you see in the book of Isaiah, he's telling you giving you all the names of the people that was going to be. Isaiah was telling you all the people that was going to be destroyed. Moab, Ammon, all those people were the people that was on Nebuchadnezzar's radar, and Damascus was one of them. So that's already happened.
Mm.
Right.
Okay.
And now they bring it up now because of, you know, you got Damascus over there now, but it has nothing to do with it. It ain't tied to the scripture. What Damascus over there right now got to do with us? When you understand that we the Israelites.
Okay.
Right. Anybody got anything on that comment or anything they want to bring up before we go? Yeah, just read Isaiah 17. Right, you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay. So with that being said, I'm gonna say shalom to everybody. We have our men's Bible study tomorrow night. Then we got on shalom.
Shalom, everyone.